Today we are doing one extraordinary philosopher, Immanuel Kant. Kant proposed many innovations in many aspects of philosophy. It's a milestone in the development of Western philosophy. But in the issues concerning ethics, we are confining ourselves to one particular concept Kant gave, and that is categorical imperative. Categorical imperative, like Hume's sympathy, explains two things. One, why we are moral and what is moral. Similar to Hume's sympathy, and Kant thought he was improvising on Hume's sympathy. Kant was responding to Hume. Both were thinkers belonging to Enlightenment age. Categorical imperative, okay, maybe some aspect of the context of Kant might be necessary here. Hume said that mind is a blank slate to begin with. Man is born with a blank mind, and socialization puts things onto the mind. But Kant said that the mind is not blank. The mind has many concepts a priori. Time is a concept, space is a concept, causation is a concept, which are already there in the mind. Man is not born with a blank slate. Mind already has these concepts. So from these concepts he tries to understand the reality. He poses these questions regarding the nature and working of reality. So mind is born with certain things. Kant said categorical imperative is one of the things that everyone is born with. He is saying that each one has this categorical imperative. He is not saying he should have. This is about is and not ought, like in the case of Hume. So now let us ask, what is that categorical imperative that is the source of ethics? Kant says, because everyone has this categorical imperative in oneself. He has the tendency to behave in a particular way. He defines categorical imperative in this way. We have in ourselves the tendency to act as if the maximum of our action were to become, by our will, a universal law of nature. Maximum. Means rule of behavior. That is to say, we behave in such a way that we ask that what happens if others also behave in similarly, or we behave in such a way, and what is the rule behind our behavior? What happens if that rule becomes a universal law? That is to say, that whatever we do, we ask ourselves, what if everyone does this? And if everyone does it and the world is bad, then we are not likely to do it. And that would be regarded as a vice. And if everyone does it and that would be lead to a positive world, then that would be called a virtue. So, out of what we do, we will generalize and make a rule of it and universalize it. That is, what if everyone does this? So, okay, let us give an example. I deceive a friend, but I ask, what if everyone deceives one's friend? It will be a very bad world. That it is a bad world means that deception is a vice, and that there is a categorical imperative in me means that I don't like to commit it. So categorical imperative is nothing but asking, what if everyone does this? what if everyone does? If the world is going to get a positive outcome, it's a virtue. It is a negative outcome, vice. Deceiving a friend is a vice. Deception is a vice. Helping others, virtue. What if everyone helps others? A positive outcome, virtue. Love, virtue. Forgiveness, virtue. Stealing, vice. Of course, higher virtue and lower virtue are possible. Punishment as per law may be a lower virtue, but forgiveness, higher virtue. So what we discussed under Hume, vice, lower virtue and higher virtue, can also be looked at from categorical imperative point of view. The categorical imperative being, what if everyone does? So Kant is saying two things. Number one, what if everyone does? That question leads us to find out what is a virtue and what is a vice. And second, this categorical imperative is there in every one of us. And that is why man tends to be virtuous and tends to avoid vice. So to Kant, categorical imperative condemns man to be moral. He has no other way to go. When everyone is worried why man is immoral, Kant is asking why man is so moral. He is asking the question Hume asked before, why are people so moral? Hume found sympathy was the reason, Kant found categorical imperative was the reason. And both explain why people are moral and what constitutes morality. So man is condemned that way. Of course, it raises the most obvious question that if categorical imperative is there in every one of us, then what is this reason for immoral behavior, unethical behavior? Why do vices exist at all? Kant proceeds this question that this categorical imperative by which man generalizes and universalizes, may be very, very narrow. Say, society with cannibals, they don't kill their own members, but they kill others. But a member will only ask, what if members kill themselves? Bad. So he will not kill. But can he kill outside the tribe? Yes. So categorical imperative is operating, but only it covers one's own group. Not all the groups, not the neighboring tribes. So this universalizing, generalizing nature can be narrow. So cannibals also have categorical imperative, and that is why they kill only certain sections. A group of robbers have their own categorical imperative. They want to steal others' money, but among themselves they follow their rules. If the gang robber, if the leader of the gang doesn't go by his word and he cheats his members of the group, then I think it will make him a very bad leader and the gang won't be successful. The members will feel hurt and members will have the commitment that they shouldn't cheat their own members, but they can steal others' homes. So categorical imperative is operating. Narrow circles. It's true of this group but not extended to others. And sometimes they may have a different viewpoint. Bin Laden must be having a strong categorical imperative. Bin Laden, what if everybody does? Bin Laden may have thought that it creates only a just society. It clears up people who use military power to impose unjust world, like George Bush. Bin Laden has his own way of looking at things. And Bush had his own way of looking at things. Gandhi had categorical imperative and Godse had. Godse thought he was doing a great thing by getting rid of Gandhi. So, Kant is saying that this is relative. It's a viewpoint. So what he is saying is, man is condemned to think that he is right. Bin Laden thinks he is right. Godse thinks he is right. Bush thought he was right. So Kant is pointing out man's need to think he is right. Man's need to think. Man is not in a position to say, I am bad and I have full of vices and I do immoral things and what is wrong with it? I just love doing immoral things. Such a man doesn't exist. He will distort the information. He will have his own viewpoint finally to say that he is right. Distortion. American soldiers fighting in Iraq thought that Iraq was somehow responsible for 9/11. They needed to think that way because they needed to think that they were right. Otherwise, they won't have the energy to fight. They won't have the will to fight. So politicians give that kind of information so that soldiers feel good about their actions. If they don't feel good about their actions and if they think that they are only like mercenaries, they won't be able to willing to die for their nation. So soldiers have to think that their cause is just, and to appear the cause is just, information will be distorted. India thinks it is right and Pakistan is wrong. And India thinks it is right and China is wrong in holding its land. And China has a different perspective on it. And Pakistan has a different perspective on it. So what Kant is interested in is that Pakistan, India and China think that they are right. Kant is pointing out the universal need to think that they are right. And right and wrong depends on the calculation that what if others also do it. If others also do like this, it creates a better world. So we are not doing anything wrong. That's how people think. That's how nations think. And that's what categorical imperative is. Man's inability to be self-consciously bad. Is categorical imperative. The condemnation of man to behave in a moral way. And towards that, he may subject himself to have a different viewpoint, to distort the information, to close his eyes. He may explain himself that only in certain circumstances he is behaving like this, but normally he doesn't. Or if he is behaving in the ways that he doesn't like, then he will say he is behaving like that because of the past, not because he is bad. So, Kant is saying, through all these actions, one can see the operation of the categorical imperative. It can also be applied to see how a healthy mind can be created. I think if man is clearly going by categorical imperative, it creates a clean mind. If he is not going by the categorical imperative, and if he is doing something, but he has to convince himself that he is not bad, then he distorts information. He selects information, and mind becomes cloudy, and he pushes certain things to the unconscious, which Freud explained later, and what was there in the unconscious would impact the man. So all kinds of complications. That's why honest people have clean minds and they have strength. Dishonest people tend to have a complicated mind because of their roundabout way of somehow satisfying their categorical imperative.